Welcome back to the channel. Today's story is particularly sombre and intense. It revolves around the disappearance and eventual discovery of Mike Turner, a missing hiker whose tale is both heartbreaking and haunting. The emotional weight of this story is heavy, and it serves as a stark reminder of how fleeting and precious life can be. For those who are captivated by dark tales and mysterious stories, you've come to the right place. We post every week, so remember to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. On August 2nd, 1998, Mike, a 48-year-old hiker standing at an imposing 6'6", paused to take in a drink from his water bottle. He was in the Fitzpatrick Wilderness in Wyoming, an area renowned for its rugged beauty and its extreme landscape. Fitzpatrick Wilderness is characterized by its dramatic natural features. Towering snow-capped peaks, expansive glaciers, verdant meadows and crystal clear lakes. The remoteness of the harsh terrain of this wilderness make it a challenging and alluring destination for seasoned adventurers. Mike wasn't a professional adventurer by any means, but he was a dedicated reverend at a church in Idaho. Hiking was his cherished escape, a way to reconnect with himself and his faith, far from the pressures of his daily life. His latest adventure, that was meticulously planned, a 9-day hike through the Fitzpatrick Wilderness. He'd arranged with his wife Diane to meet him at the end of his journey, and she knew the details of his route. However, things took an unexpected turn when Mike altered his path on the 4th day of his hike. Mike had initially planned to follow a specific route, but due to the worsening icy conditions, he decided to deviate onto a safer path for the sake of his loyal black Labrador, Andy. Mike's decision to change his route was motivated by his concerns for Andy's well-being. Mike had initially planned to follow a specific route, but due to the worsening icy conditions, he decided to deviate to a safer path for the sake of his loyal black Labrador, Andy. Mike's decision to change his route was motivated by his concern for Andy's well-being, and he informed Diane of the adjustment, explaining that he would be arriving later than originally planned. The landscape Mike and Andy traversed, both beautiful and treacherous. The rugged terrain presented numerous challenges, and the icy conditions made every step a potential hazard. Despite these obstacles, Mike pressed on, determined to complete his journey. On August 5th, as Mike and Andy navigated through the mountainous terrain, Andy suddenly bolted towards a boulder field near the lake. The boulder field was a chaotic jumble of large rocks, creating a labyrinth maze that was both difficult and dangerous to navigate. Mike, concerned about losing Andy and the possibility of injury in such a hazardous area, chased after his dog, hoping to bring him back safely. In the midst of the chase, Mike found himself in quite a precarious position. The boulder field was unstable, the rocks shifting underfoot. Despite his experience and careful planning, Mike was caught in a pretty nightmare scenario when he became trapped between two large boulders. His effort to free himself were in vain, as the rocks were just immovable. Realizing the gravity of his situation, Mike tried to stay calm and focused. Back at the big sandy trailhead, Diana awaited her husband's arrival with increasing concern. Mike was now 24 hours overdue. Although Diane was accustomed to Mike's tendency to run behind schedule, extended absence began to alarm her. She contacted local authorities and reported Mike as missing, triggering an immediate response from search and rescue teams. The initial search effort was extensive, involving numerous volunteers and professionals combing through the Fitzpatrick Wilderness. The rugged and remote terrain, however, presented significant challenges, and despite the best efforts, the search yielded no trace of Mike. 2 weeks later, and as the search was nearing a conclusion, a glimmer of hope emerged as backpackers 17 miles from Mike's last known location discovered Andy. The once vibrant and black lab was found in a state of severe malnourishment and dehydration. Despite his poor condition, Andy was still alive. The discovery of Andy reignited hopes that they might find Mike alive, and a renewed search effort was launched with the hope that Andy might lead rescuers to his owner. In a twist of fate, another hiker named Brian, exploring a different part of the wilderness, stumbled upon Mike Turner's lifeless body. Mike had been trapped between these boulders for 29 agonizing days. To fully grasp the severity of Mike's ordeal, we need to revisit days leading up to the discovery. After being trapped, Mike faced an unimaginable ordeal. The boulder field that he'd been ensnared in was unforgiving, with a little protection from the elements. Mike attempted to use his gear and the surrounding materials to make his situation a little more bearable. He created a makeshift camp using what little he had and insulated himself to stay warm. Melting snow from drinking water became a daily struggle, and Mike documented his whole experience meticulously in his journal. Initially, Mike remained hopeful that a rescue would come soon. His optimism, however, was gradually eroded by the harsh reality of his situation. As days turned into weeks, Mike's physical condition just deteriorated. His access to water became increasingly scarce as he used all the ice around him. As his strength waned, the isolation and depression began to weigh heavily on him. Mike's spiritual faith, however, which had always been the source of his strength, was severely tested. He grappled with a sense of abandonment and questioned whether his plight was a form of divine punishment. His journal entries reflected a growing sense of despair, yet he clung to the faint hope they might be found. As time passed, Mike faced the grim prospect of having to amputate his own leg in a desperate bid to escape. His body was failing him, and he had to confront the stark reality of his situation. Despite the dire circumstances, Mike continued to document his thoughts and experiences with a mixture of resignation and determination. Finally, however, after weeks of unrelenting struggle, Mike's ordeal came to a tragic end when he was discovered by Brian. The sight of Mike's lifeless body was a devastating conclusion to the harrowing chapter. Mike Turner's story is not just a tale of survival, but also one of endurance and the profound impact of nature's raw power. Mike's death left a long-lasting impact on those who knew him and the broader community. His story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of appreciating our loved ones while we have the chance.